And welcome again to the Rob and Mike Show. We're back!
Sorry for the long delay as we posted on our Facebook page. Life happens sometimes, so we had to take a little bit of a break. But we're back. We are so thankful that you guys have continued to follow us. Looks like we only lost one subscriber in that entire time, which I completely
only
understand.
one of you was impatient.
But we are glad to be back. We've missed you, so today we're going to do a little, not quite a tribute show, but kind of. So we're actually going to talk about the performing arts today because it hits very close to home for both of us. We both have been in theater in many ways, and improv, on stage, and movies.
Yeah.
This show alone is considered, performance because we're,
We are, yeah. No, this is a form of entertainment. We have some friends right now. We have I know a shout out to our good friend Dana, who is she's doing the Worldwide Widget. I completely forgot the name of the show.
I do too, but their first show back
first show back. I think with a full audience, and so they're back. So
your brother-in-law, who has a Upstart Theater Company,
Upstart Theater Company as well. He's got a show that he's directing that's upcoming. So really, there's a lot. Theater is coming back, and
it is.
Small theater is coming back. We just went and saw some live comedy a little while ago.
Yep.
So definitely, not just talking about it, but there's a lot of active art going on. If you're, check out your local community theater.
Oh,
it's
please
really
do.
A lot of folks don't realize, but a lot of your local community theater, there's actually some pretty decent acting that goes on, on a pretty regular basis. So check out the different shows, especially if you haven't if there's some. What I really like about the community theater is that they do a lot of the classic pieces, right? Death of a Salesman, those the old David Mamet stuff from the 70s.
Well, and let's be honest, and if you don't know, a lot of times for upstart theaters to do community theater, it also is a lot cheaper to get the rights for it.
Right, exactly.
And some of them now probably, I'm guessing at this point,
they're completely out of rights at this point.
They're now public domain.
Yeah, I mean, if you're doing 9 to 5 or something like that, I don't think that you have to pay anyone to do 9 to 5 at this point. There's a lot of those, and so. But if you haven't seen some of those classic plays, it gives you an opportunity to go see some of those things that you maybe that were maybe on your bucket list, or something that maybe you thought would it would have been really cool to see that on Broadway or something like that. Go see it at your local community theater. It really helps the artists in your area kind of do what they do.
And for me, just support the arts, and that means going to your museums, going to the local theaters. Theaters coming back to Seattle finally at the big theaters. The tours are finally starting to come through, which I'm really excited about. Theaters coming back.
There is a show. I sent you a link on it. I don't really know anything about it just yet, but I'm really excited to see it. The hip hop Nutcracker.
Yes, that is coming. This Christmas,
and I am super excited to see this. I was like, really? That's going to be fun. I'm looking forward to the dancing, because the Nutcracker
is okay.
But it's a dance. It's a ballet. It's not. There's no lines to the Nutcracker, right? It's a beautiful suite by Tchaikovsky. Yeah. It's a beautiful ballet, and I think doing all of that with hip hop is going to be really, really cool.
I'm wondering what they do with the music if they add some rhythm to the Tchaikovsky original music, or I'm
not sure, but I am really hoping that they hip-hopalize the Tchaikovsky. I mean, it would be, original pieces are always great, but I think when you're doing something the Nutcracker is a classic piece, and so I think if you're going to do it, I think if you're paying it homage in the right way, you would take Tchaikovsky and make Tchaikovsky hip-hop.
No, I get it, and I'm really looking forward, not only just theater because we were in it, but I've still not been to the Chihuly Museum here in the Pacific Northwest, which I would really like to go to. And so, I guess we said performing arts, but we want to talk about it's just the arts in general, and just getting out there, and please take your kids who get to experience the arts in any ways, paintings, blown glass, theater, music, do become well-developed children, and they become more around children. And I'm not saying this on a box, on my box because I was raised that way, but it's actually been proven in studies that kids who have been involved in the arts become more well-rounded people as they get older.
Yeah, I think it's also a really cool thing. I think it's a great doing artistic things is a great family activity. Whether it's going to go see something, going to a museum together, there's this great art studio right here in downtown Everett that you just kind of walk around in. I think they do glass blowing or something like that as well there. But it's just a really, having like a hobby, like an artistic hobby that you can do with your kids also, like, it just doesn't really get better than that. We've got several friends as well that have, like independent art studios. They do paintings and different things like that. And they're just, what a kind of a great way to get like everything that's kind of inside your soul out,
Oh yeah.
And please put your art out there. For those of you who are, at home and you do like a lot of painting or you do photography or whatever you do, post it.
Yeah.
Even if you like, open an Etsy shop. Why not?
Yeah.
Put your art out there. Believe in your art. Like, if you, there's this great. So this is, I'm totally stealing from another show, but my wife and I were watching The Voice, and we're several episodes behind because we're like, we're watching like episode 3 when I think they're on episode 7 or something.
Yeah,
like that, right?
No, I'm in the midst of it right now because that's the show that we all.
Yeah, so I'm watching The Voice, and there was this really great one, and the guy makes it onto the show, and I don't remember his name right now. But he didn't think that he was ever going to be a musician, but and his wife pushed him to do it.
Yes. I know it's funny. When she was like, "Go do this," you enjoy doing anything that's cathartic. Yeah. And that's the thing. For a lot of us, like, why Mike and I do this show, it's very cathartic. Yeah. Like, it's nice to just get out and express yourself. And no, we don't plan on ever like really acting and stuff like that again. But it's part of why we do this, because we enjoy it, because this is our way to get our artistic side out.
You just it's something that you can do, and it's and it does. It satisfies that part of the soul. Absolutely. So get out there and do it. We've had the opportunity of being encircled by a lot of different artists from with a lot of different genres.
Oh yeah.
And it's always just such a pleasure having that opportunity to either attend a show or to hear about something that somebody's doing, or to see their work online or anything like that.
As you guys want, if you want to reference back, if you haven't watched the video, we have a really talented friend named Michael who we did a whole episode about, so please check out his page. Once again, local artists is really important. Like I said, I like seeing all aspects. I love paying the way too much money to go to Seattle for the big shows, but also what we have here is another in downtown Everett is we have the Village Theater, which does really good, which is like a middle ground. It's not quite community theater, but it's not quite like tour. So funny story. This was actually before we even decided to like kind of do this idea for the show, though. But again, my wife and I were talking about it, and so we had decided that we were going to go ahead. I don't know if it's this season that we're getting the season tickets. But it's just nice to have a theater that you go to and attend regularly. Oh, yeah. And the Village is right here, and, they do some really, really good work. And they've got some great titles that come through that theater. Yes, they do. They've got some shows that I really like, and unfortunately, I was prepared to buy, like, 2 sets of, buy some tickets for, like, back-to-back shows, and then, the world shut down. YouTube doesn't really like us using that word, so... And then that thing happened. So that we don't take 3 hours to go through our checks on our... just don't say the word. Just don't say the word. There's like... It's like we now have the 7 deadly YouTube words. And you're just like... Don't say the C word. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And they've even checked... Some people I've seen just even saying the word... Don't give it up. Yeah. Just nothing. Yeah, we're just going to leave that. But yeah, so... I love it. I think that it's really great having friends that are in theater. I don't know that you made a really good point. I said I enjoyed every show that I've ever done. I really enjoyed acting the entire way through. I don't know that it's something that I would ever like. I don't miss it in a like, man, I really wish I could go do a show. Yeah, me either, but I do. Yeah. But I enjoyed the times that I've done it, and I really did. And it was great, but yeah. And other artistic pursuits, like I love doing this show, I love, I love attending,
I like playing. I still like playing in front of people. I still like singing in front of
people. Yeah, but
still like singing.
But once again, that's more for.
But that's again for me. I don't like. Yeah, I mean, I don't. Yeah.
Yeah, and I love. And you probably guess, Mike and I have done many shows together. Some really great. Some we just won't ever talk about. And I do. I mean, yes, I enjoyed my shows. I enjoyed my time almost 30 years close to doing theater. I still love supporting it. I still enjoy it. I still get the excitement of a show. I get the excitement of when the lights go down and the curtain opens. It still gives me goosebumps in the audience. But I don't. I'm with you. I don't have that desire to be back on stage and be in a character or anything like that.
No. I still enjoy it though.
Oh, really, very much so.
I like watching people do it. I'm like, oh, that looks like so much fun.
And work. And work. And I know people might think that theater and movies and acting is...
It's so not. Acting isn't really as much fun as people think it is. It's a lot of work. And it's emotionally and like it's both physically, emotionally, and mentally taxing. And people who are, like it's... I hate to say this, but like you run into those folks, right? And people are like, oh my god, they are such a great actors and actresses. And then like in their private life, they're just like BF crazy. Because like it really does. Like to be really, really good, I think it really like you end up kind of like a little. I think you lose your mind. You do. You lose your mind a little bit.
You've got to be a little crazy to be an actor.
You do have.
I mean, and that's
I know that doesn't really. I don't think it goes quite as. I don't know. Does it go quite as deep for comedians as it does for like serious actors?
Yes, because I think most comedians are probably some of the darkest people you'll ever meet, and that's why they're comedians.
Yeah.
So
just really depressed alcoholic, just bad.
And you repeat yourself a lot in theater because you're going over the same stuff over. And once again, it is fun. We're not poo-pooing it.
No. I'm telling you how hard actors have it. And it's a hard job. It's a really hard job.
And it can become very tedious and mundane when you're in rehearsal. And remember, a lot of people do the same show 6 days a week for years.
I am always so impressed. You know what? The people that impress me the most are the people that work standing shows in like Vegas and places like that.
Oh my god.
Where they have been doing the same show for like 2 years. And maybe you rotate in one show and rotate out of one show and like, but like really, because when you're, like actors and actresses, they're just like everybody else, right? There's ranges of money you make. You're doing like, not a very few. It's like it's like sports, right? Mm-hmm. There's like a handful of people that are up here that make millions of dollars, right? Mm-hmm. And then there's like all these people down here that are just paying their bills, right?
And then they've got that little tier in between where like they work just enough where they can enjoy life, and
right.
Like they just work because they're that character.
But like
actor.
some people are just making like you're saying like I don't know what like I'm trying to like think of what like. I think what your average... I know this is going to sound weird depending upon where you're in the country, but let's just say, like, your average job, like, your average person makes, there's 50... Like, let's say the average person makes $1,000 a week.
Yeah.
There's a lot of actors and actresses out there, the bulk of actors and actresses, that just like everybody else, they make around $1,000 a week. They have a cooler job, like, maybe that you might think their job is cooler than your job, but, they're not, like, balling, but, like, but it's a living. And I think there's a lot of entertainers, and that's I think the hardest part about people when they think about entertainment, right? Is that if it's something that they're interested in doing, right? They're like, oh, I don't want to go be an entertainer or an artist or anything because there's you're either poor or you're rich, and that's really not true.
No,
like there's there's definitely some people that are still
the term that we say for the ones who do well off but not like rich is. He or she's a working actor, which was one of those actors
or you call them a working artist. Right?
Yeah, which means they're just constantly in shows.
Right, they have a lot of shows. They do they do regular work.
They do regular work. They're on tour. They don't have a second job.
Right, they don't have a second job. Right,
yes.
This is what they do for a living. Right.
Yes.
And there's a lot of people that do that. Peter Dinklage was really, really famously said, like you can make a living acting. You just decide that you don't want to like do anything else. And then you can, and there's like anything else. And I think when it comes to art, that's one of the encouraging things. That if you don't want to do anything other than art, you don't have to. You just have to pick the art. And
yes, it's trials, tribulations, but
I think there's a lot. when you look at the people who do art for a living, there's a lot less luck and a lot more work, I think, than people understand when it comes to art.
Yes, and I've watched it very firsthand, watching my mother for a while being a working actress, but also because to support me, you know, she was a working actress but did have to have a second job, and sometimes she, you know, there would be times where she didn't have to worry about a second job because she got in a show that ran for 6 months, and like that's what she did. So, and watching my father do costumes for show, and he was, you know, a teacher, and like during the summer, even though he was doing summer school, would sit there for summer stock shows and like clothe 100, you know, something cast members. So, and that with him, like he said, it was a passion and fun for him. Right. He never wanted to make a career out of it, but it was something that he enjoyed doing. Yeah. So if you wanted, and that's what we're saying about the community theaters, like if you want to just get in there and have fun and just do some shows without being and I hate to say this, I'm saying this for lack of a better term, a committed actor or theater person, that means sound tech, band, stagehand, whatever, just to experience it, then yeah, go to and see what you can do. They're always needing people to pitch in and help out with their productions because they don't have the budgets of even, say, the Village Theater and stuff like that. So, and we're lucky enough that in where we live, we get into the other areas like Edmonds and stuff like that. There's all kinds of small.
There is a lot of small theater around this area, and that's what I'm saying. Like if you're in, and there's a lot of theater. I think I love the small theater around everywhere, and there's also, and I don't want to stick like directly on theater because there are glass blowing studios, there are painting studios, there are so many different things around you. So take advantage of all of those things. Get out there and make some. Make some art. Art fills you up. Like, no matter what it is, art fills you up. Yeah.
So, we're glad to be back, as always, because we haven't said this in a while. That's Mike.
And that's Rob. Hey, you guys, again, we're so glad to be back. Thanks for tuning in. A lot of stuff coming up, and we are super excited to bring it to you. Thanks for tuning in, and we will see you next time. Peace.